Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I am sitting here in my studio with my guest, whom I am very excited to introduce in a moment, and my producer, Tony Thaxton. Hello, Tony.
Hello.
How is it going?
It's going great. Big day today. Bed Bath & Beyond, Target. Oh, what a day.
What are you shopping for?
Christmas.
At Bed Bath & Beyond and Target?
Well, no, actually, that was the... Because Flo wanted some candles that were on sale.
Did you get them?
She got them.
Are they amazing candles? Are they scented candles?
They are, and they're Christmassy scented. I don't
Really?
remember what they were. You know I'm not a big smell guy. We've talked about this.
Yeah. But now I feel like you're really coming into your own because a lot of people don't have a great sense of smell right now with COVID. I don't mean to start the show on a bummer note. I know that is really a bummer.
Yeah. But mine's not COVID related.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But how would you know?
Because it was like that before COVID.
But it could be more like that now.
All right. Yeah, sure. Does that make you happy?
Do you know that I now call her, because you're Tone Zone and she's Flow Zone?
Yeah, I remember because it came out as an accident at first.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I even put it in the show title.
I know.
And you did. How did she feel about it?
Oh, she's never been more excited.
Oh, really? I love.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Alison Rosen, Alison's your new best friend.
I love how much she loves everything.
She is actually very positive.
I love her positivity, or I love that you present her as positive, no matter.
Accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And
Just
she's excited. Me and her, very excited about the guest today.
Let's get to the guest. Okay. All right, everyone. There has been a clamoring for more wrestlers on the show. As many people know, I did not think to myself, one day I will become the premier wrestling reporter, number one wrestling podcast in the nation. But that seems to be my fate, and I am welcoming it with open arms, with peace signs that mean friendship, and just there's nothing sexual about you. Your mind might be in the gutter when you see my fingers doing this. And if you're listening to this, you're like, what could her fingers be doing? Is she making a circle with one hand and is she penetrating it with the other? Because I said that you might be thinking it's like something lewd. YouTube.com/Alison Rosen to see what I'm doing with my fingers. It's not anything obscene, you guys. It just means friendship. Anyway, my guest today, he is a pro wrestler. He's an actor. He's a commercial actor. He's also very funny on YouTube with his boyfriend. They have a channel called Michael and Anthony. You should go subscribe right now. Tons of subscribers. He's also one half of the Acclaimed, extremely popular tag team partnership. They're currently the AEW Tag Team World Champions. Please put your hands together for Anthony Bowens.
Hey, everyone. What an introduction. That made me so happy.
You get the ring announcer to do it that long.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Thank you. You might not know this, although you probably do because my understanding is it's been written up in the wrestling trades. Lately, my introductions have really not been very good.
Oh.
I've been podcasting now for 45 years. And my introductions were fine for years and years. And then I don't know what happened. Like in the last 8 months or something, it's like I just lost the ability to do introductions. It's turned around today.
It's a big turnaround because that was perfect.
Thank you. First of all, Anthony or Bowens, what should we be calling you?
I mean, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Everyone refers to me as Bowens, but depending on who it is, Bowens, Uncle Bobo, Bo Nose.
I think you should go with
Uncle Bobo. Obviously, it's going to be Uncle Bobo. Uncle Bobo. It really rolls off the tongue. Uncle Bobo. So for me, I have been doing this for so long, but then recently I've lost the ability to do introductions except for today. Have you experienced anything like that where like all of a sudden something that you had been doing for a long time just like suddenly felt brand new and you couldn't do it?
Never.
Never ever. Uncle Bobo.
I don't know. That's something I have to think about. I really don't do much other than wrestle and lift weights and watch whatever my boyfriend Michael has on the Apple TV. So there's nothing really to forget.
I know that on Michael and Anthony, and by the way, Michael and Anthony, was any part of you like, let's call the channel Anthony and Michael?
There was a quick brainstorming session of what flowed a lot better, and Anthony and Michael was kind of like,
Yeah.
So we went with Michael and Anthony. Just flows a lot better.
It's interesting. It's like the Bert and Ernie and Bert.
Yes, it just Bert and Ernie sounds better,
Right.
to me at least.
Same. And I wonder if it's like the consonant name has to come before the vowel name.
I don't know.
Let me look it up.
Get on that, please. Yes. So anyway, you guys do some parodies of reality shows.
Yes.
Are you into the Bravo shows at all? Because I saw some Bravo celebrities yesterday.
Name some shows.
Vanderpump Rules.
No.
Okay, those are the people I saw yesterday. Moving on. Okay, so you grew up in Nutley, New Jersey.
Yes.
I enjoy that name immensely. I don't know much about Nutley. It's very small, though, right?
There's only 2 Nutleys in the world, Nutley, New Jersey, and Nutley in the United Kingdom.
Okay. Is there a rivalry?
I don't know, but I'll fight them for our town honor, if that's what you want. For the Nutley Raiders, I'll defend.
I do want that. Is it clear? Am I giving off the vibe that that's what I want? Because I do want that.
Okay, yeah. That's the vibe I got.
I'm glad that you're picking up when I'm laying down. Yes. Okay. And I know that you played baseball in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, what was the experience like going from being, and I hope I'm not insulting my new demographic of wrestlers. What was it like going from being like a legit athlete to now sports entertainer?
Well, I'm going to stop you there.
Okay, please do.
Because we are legit. Wrestling, especially these days, you can't get away with not being an athlete anymore. There's exceptions to the rule, but like if you don't have any coordination, you're not going to have any success in the wrestling business in terms of being like looked at as a really good professional wrestler. But in terms of making the switch, I think pro wrestling has been a lot harder than baseball. For me, I mean, they say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a 90-something mile-an-hour fastball. It's very hard. I've done it multiple times. I played at the highest collegiate level you can at Seton Hall. And very, very hard stuff. They worked us to the bone. I learned how I learned my work ethic from being a baseball player at a Division I school. But then when I got to wrestling, the conditioning and the pounding that your body takes is 10 times worse than anything I've ever done that was like really bad in baseball, training wise or on the field. When I first started training, I had bruises all over my back from hitting the ropes. I had a headache every single day because you're learning to fall properly so you don't injure yourself. Mm-hmm. The drills that you do that have to build up your strength and conditioning, because the cardio for wrestling is a lot different than any other sport. Most sports, you're just doing straight running or, running, stopping, maybe doing some agility stuff. Wrestling, it's all of that, but then you're getting the wind knocked out of you from getting slammed. Then you have to get back up and pick up 200 pounds and manipulate that body weight. And then you have to run, and then you're stopping, and then you're getting hit. And then there's so many different variables to it. So it's very hard to, it's very hard. It's a lot. As what I was going to say, it's hard to train because there's so many different dynamics to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when I had your friend and mine, RJ City, on,
RJ,
I said to him, host of AEW's Hey EW,
yes,
popular interview show, which you guys have been on.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, have you always been athletic? And he was like, oh, you don't have to be athletic to be a wrestler. So I'm just bringing this up to point out that I was right. Right?
Sure. I mean, you don't have to be athletic to be a good wrestler. There we go.
Okay.
I mean, to be a wrestler in general, but you have to be, in my opinion, to be a very good wrestler.
I mean, I think he was trying to point out the history of wrestling as having been at one point like a sideshow kind of thing. Like there's all these sort of, and I feel uncomfortable using this word, but like, freak freaks that had
was
been
more
in
circusy,
wrestling.
yeah.
Yes. So that there had been that history of it. But because in my mind, wrestling is very athletic.
Well, that's why I say it's evolved, because like pro wrestling back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you can be a very large, overweight gentleman, and you wouldn't have to really do much. It was just kind of like, I'm going to slam you, and then people would go crazy. Now, in wrestling in 2022, if you don't give them some sort of technical wrestling or fast-paced or crazy flips or some hardcore action where people getting bashed in head with chairs or going through tables, if you don't give them that kind of level of entertainment, it's no good.
Yeah.
So like that old time wrestling people would watch these days and just change the channel. So you can get away with, again, there's always exceptions to the rule, but back then you can get away with being anybody and being a pro wrestler. Now it's kind of, if you don't have the motor in you to put on something that's fast paced and entertaining, it's gonna be very hard. You have to rely on maybe on a very strong character to kind of hide the fact that you can't do the wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's a different vibe now.
And I just learned, which is weird given that I am the premier wrestling reporter, but I just learned how painful it is. Not personally, but I just found out how painful it actually is. Because I think I had it in my mind that, getting slammed onto the mat, given that the mat has some give, that must not hurt that much. Because otherwise, why would people keep having it done to them? But no, it actually hurts a lot, right?
Well, we're psychotic and put ourselves through it, so it's our own fault. But yes, it hurt. It really hurts. It does. There is some give to it, but that doesn't really deter anything when you have somebody slamming you with such force. Like the mat is like maybe an inch of padding, and then it's wood, and then it's a steel frame. So there's not really much there to. And I've been in rings like on the independent circuit where. Like I saw them putting the ring together, and it was just like these weird carpet pieces and like a stop sign. I was like, whoa, this isn't going to be a fun night. So I've been in some pretty crappy rings where they were just makeshift, and you just have to deal with it or be good enough to where you can go throughout an entire match without, falling.
Where was the stop sign?
This was in some random place in Pennsylvania. I can't remember. It was like way out in the sticks. But the stop sign was it was underneath the canvas. So it was like a couple rugs to I guess provide the cushion over the top of the wood. And then there was a missing gap where I guess they didn't have enough carpet, so they found a stop sign and they put the stop sign there, which just leave the wood at that point.
Yeah. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like Tony, it sounds like really bad, like sound baffling for a studio or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. People just like, well, this should work, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot of that.
So absorb some kind of sound. We just touched feet under the table. You didn't see it.
Like,
it was
what
pretty
was that?
special. It was very special to me. Oh my God. Completely lost my train of thought.
What a moment.
I know.
Is that
I
a
felt
first?
it. Yes. I think it might have been. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So you guys are the Acclaimed, very famous for your entrances where you and your partner, Max Castor, come out. He raps. You scream.
Yes, loudly.
Couple questions.
Sure.
How do you protect your voice? 1. 2, does he ever get mad? Is he ever like, I'm doing the heavy lifting, you're just screaming? Because I know that like my husband and I, it goes back and forth who is holding resentment over like, I'm doing more than you. Who's keeping track,
So I think the beauty of the Acclaimed is we are 50-50 in everything. So like sometimes in match scenarios, if I'm hurt, banged up, he'll do a lot of the heavy lifting in the match and then vice versa. So we kind of pick each other up on those things. On the entrance, I would have to say that although he does the rapping, which takes more memorization, the screaming that I do and the headaches and sore throats that I get should be equal to the amount of work that he's putting into the entrance. Because especially when we have shows back to back and I realize I have to scream every single night, it tends to hurt.
Yeah. So yeah, that brings me to the first question, which is how do you not blow out your voice all the time?
I just scream and hope for the best.
So it's like calloused at this point?
Yeah, a calloused vocal cords. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I probably should maybe do some warm-ups beforehand, but then I don't know. I'm too lazy. We'll just scream until it gives out.
Does it give you like a charge almost? Because especially when you do the acclaimed have arrived part, everybody yells that with you. So I assume that's got to like give you that extra boost you need, I would assume.
Yes, I was just I was watching back one of the promo segments that we had, and it was actually National Scissoring Day, where we had like a whole
October 5th.
You watched?
Tony sent me the clip, and I encountered it on my own as well. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It was a very successful National Scissoring Day.
Yeah.
But that night, Max and I look back at a lot because they were there for everything, and it's a really powerful feeling to scream. Everyone loves the Acclaimed, and you feel everyone screaming it with you. Like, I just got goosebumps. It's so cool. The Acclaimed have arrived too. Scissor me daddy ass. Like, it's now that I'm thinking about it, we have so many catchphrases, which is cool because like Max and I always look to the people of the past, like who have been very, very successful. You know, the Stone Cold Steve Austins and the Rocks, like the people who have seen us that made the most money in this business. And you look at a lot of the stuff that they do, it's always memorable catchphrases, you know, because Stone Cold said so, give me a hell yeah, and that's the bottom line. The Rock, if you smell what the Rock is cooking, finally the Rock has come back. It doesn't matter what your name is. Like, you can rattle all these catchphrases off, and then when we look at our body of work, it's like, oh, you can do the same thing. Yo, listen, the Acclaimed have arrived. Scissor me daddy ass. Everyone loves the Acclaimed. That's right. Like, it's really cool.
That's right is one of your catchphrases?
So we're working on that one right now, where I will say a line, because Stone Cold had the what? You'd say a line, the crowd goes, what? We want the crowd now to go, that's right. So I'll say something, a line, like a list. We're going grocery shopping. That's right. To get some watermelon. That's right. To get some peas. That's right. And then get the crowd to do that. So, we're going to keep adding things as we go along just to see if we can do it, how many we can get over.
Yeah. How can you tell whether it's going to catch on or not?
You know, you just gotta like the Acclaimed have arrived thing took a little bit, especially because when I first started doing it, it was in the pandemic and those were all empty arena shows. So I have to generate all this energy and scream. I won't watch any of that footage because it's probably terribly awkward and really bad, because the difference between screaming it in front of an arena full of people and that scenario is just completely different. So it's probably very cringy, but it takes time. You got to say it over and over again. And if you see signs like that's where the Scissor Me Daddy Ass thing came from. Really. I was in the wheelchair at the time. And, for those who are new listening, we were in this faction, with these two other dudes called the Gun Club. Their father, who used to go by the name Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn, I branded him Daddy Ass eventually. But the sons go by the name Ass Boys, or at least that's how we made fun of them. It was kind of like a big brother, little brother dynamic.
Who coined that? Was that you guys or was that Danhausen?
Danhausen had been calling the Gun Club Ass Boys online. And since our dynamic was like kind of like a little brother, big brother thing where we liked each other kind of, but we would always poke fun at them. So I would, after Max's rap, I would then get the crowd to say, let me hear you say ass boys. And they would say ass boys. But I didn't have a close to it. It would always just awkwardly end. And before one of the entrances, before we were about to go live, I was sitting in the wheelchair and I was just giggling to myself. I was like, what if I screamed scissor me daddy ass? And it made me laugh. And I didn't have time to go like run it. Like I wouldn't run it by anybody anyway. Even though I probably should. But I just went out there and we did the ass boys thing and I screamed scissor me daddy ass at the top of my lungs in the wheelchair, and he did it. He gave me the scissor handshake and I came back and nobody said anything to me. So I was like, okay. And then I went on Twitter and I saw it was trending. And then the next week there were signs for it. And I was like, we got to keep doing this every single week. So that became my close. And then it turned into this crazy thing that it turned into where, you know, at first they didn't want to give us the shirt because they wouldn't clear it because, you know, it's putting "Scissor Me Daddy Ass" on a shirt's kind of like, ooh, for Time Warner. It's a was it the practices and standards, the
Tony.
Yeah, standards and practices.
Standards and practices. There we go.
It's like that Bert and Ernie thing.
Yes.
It's a hard thing to put on a t-shirt apparently, but I kept fighting for it because I knew there was a growing want for it and a growing desire for me to keep yelling this and scissor this, wrestling legend every week. And then it came out, and now the number one selling t-shirt of 2022. It's outsold everything. And we've ended up becoming some of the top merch sellers.
That's right.
That's right. Just from that catchphrase. So what we're doing is working. It's enjoyable. It's fun, and people are connecting to it. And that's the best part, to go out there and hear how excited everyone gets just to hear our music, hear Max rap, to see us scissor. Everyone wants the scissor in the arena. They're bringing custom scissors that it's cool when people
make their own scissors.
Yeah, make their own signs.
I think in the footage from October 5th, National Scissor Day, I saw just giant cardboard scissors. I was like, how does someone even know how to make that?
Yeah, like there was a thing, like, because we have a lot more merch now that there's like a lot of support behind us. But like it got to the point like we almost didn't want to put out certain things because we wanted people to continue to be up the night before and get that love and care into crafting the signs.
Yeah.
And there's a more personal connection to that, as opposed to like, here, buy our stuff.
Yeah.
Here's this
the DIY aspect.
Yeah, the DIY thing. Like, I made this for you, and we're acknowledging it. I think that's a cool connection to have with people.
I've heard you talk before about how, as you relate to Max, you tend to want to play it safe a little more, be a little more cautious, and he's a little more risk taking. And I'm wondering if you have any ideas about where that comes from, where your sort of default of feeling like you need to be more cautious, feeling like you need to play it safe comes from.
I am naturally more reserved as a person. I think people find it surprising that I'm in like social settings. I'm very introverted, as opposed to what they see on television. They think that's a character, but it's not. Like, I have so many different sides of me that make up Anthony Bowens. Like, there's the introverted side, there's the crazy side, which you see on television, masculine side, feminine side. Like, I have all these different things that make me up, and I could just kind of access them when I need to. But naturally, I'm a little bit more shy, and I'm a little bit more reserved about the things that I do. Castor is always kind of like full throttle. So that's what I mean in that respect, where I think we rubbed off on each other in a really good way, where he kind of inadvertently shook me and was like, wake up and let's start taking more risks. And on my end, like, hey, let's pull back just a tiny little bit. And he's found this groove where he's so entertaining and he can push the buttons and walk the edge without going too far. And I think that makes it even more exciting because you never know what he's going to say. So I think part of the reason why we do so well with each other is that chemistry and trusting each other and us allowing each other to kind of pull each other in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And how did you guys meet? Because you knew him before AEW, right?
Yeah. So he trained in Creative Pro New York, which is in Long Island. And I trained in Creative Pro New Jersey, which is in Rahway. It's also known as Wrestle Pro. So he trained out there. I did the wrestling match for the wrestling match for the open house because the New Jersey school opened first and then the New York school opened. So I did like the demonstration match for that with him watching, which was cool because he ended up being my tag partner. Yeah. But he trained out there. I knew him from just that. Like, I'd go out there from time to time if I wanted some extra ring time, but we weren't like friends or anything where we would sit and chat. It was just like, hey, how are you? And that was that. And I think we wrestled each other once in like a big 6-man match or something. So I wasn't really too familiar with him. I was aware of who he was. And at the time I was fielding an offer from WWE, and Tony Khan found out about it and then invited me to go down to Jacksonville. Cause at that point I still hadn't been sent a contract yet. I said yes to them. And then a few weeks later, they still haven't sent me anything.
Had you been in touch with them during that time?
I think I sent the follow-up email and they, what do we call it? said they were waiting on sending it out or something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there was this period where I didn't have anything. So I was like, it wouldn't hurt to hear this guy out. So I went down there to Jacksonville, and the day of, I was getting into the elevator, and there was Max Castor. And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I was like, "Hey, I'm here to see Tony." He goes, "Oh, I'm here to see Tony too." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we went about our day, and then I found out that we were there to see Tony together. And Tony brought us in, and we were both like very what do we call it, nervous, because we didn't know anything about this or what we were going to do, because we were both single stars. And Tony said he had this idea for us. He's always wanted to call a tag team the Acclaimed. He thinks we would be perfect for it. Would you like to give it a try? And we both were like, yeah, sure. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know where to go with it. We just knew that Max had been doing these like really funny music videos with his group called the Shook Crew, where he would rap, and he would rap on his opponents at independent shows. So we knew we had that, and I was doing something called the 5-Tool Player, which is like a premier athlete of professional wrestling that does it all. And we had to figure out how those two connected within like 2 hours, because that's when our first match was. So we went out there, and I always say this, the entrance, again, I will never watch it again because it was brutal. We didn't have a theme song, so he had to do it a cappella to an empty arena. And then I had no idea what I was doing, so I was just like,
wow, that guy really does have it all.
Yeah, what a great rap. I didn't know what to do. So it was terrible, but the match was great. We wrestled a tag team called Best Friends. We came back through the curtain. I saw Tony give the thumbs up, and then we had contracts in front of us the next day, which was just for me at least, easy to sign, because, I could tell how much Tony wanted to put his faith into us with this idea. And I took that as a challenge, and I had always wanted to be in AEW since they started, because as they became an alternative for WWE, I liked that they were focusing on younger talent, and they were trying to find new people and create them or turn them into stars. The culture of the locker room when I went there as an extra was fantastic, because we had other people in there like Sunny Kiss, who's gender fluid, and Nyla Rose, who's the first trans woman to win a national title. It was just a really inclusive and welcoming, fun locker room. So all kind of signs pointed that I should be there. Mm-hmm. And we both signed, and a little bit over 2 years now later, we're the tag team champions.
And was it a problem with WWE at that point?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that was it?
I sent them an email. I appreciate your offer. There was a lot also that went into it too, because if I signed there, I would have had to have moved to Orlando, which I really didn't want to do. And we just had a kind of like a family scare, which made me realize that I needed to be home longer. I didn't want to move down there. With AEW, I had the freedom to stay home. I had the freedom to continue to do the YouTube and pursue acting and other projects, which I'd had to forego all that if I had signed elsewhere. So everything just pointed to I needed to be at AEW. So I thanked them for their offer, but I had to take this one.
Mm-hmm. When people talk to you about like, what's it like being, the first openly gay AEW tag team champion, does that make you feel othered?
It makes me, it makes me feel proud, because, there was a time where I didn't think I'd be able to I said that in the promo, I didn't think I'd be able to have a moment like that ever, because, I would sit in my room, in my car, and just cry, thinking if I came out, my career's over, fans would hate me, wrestlers would hate me, a national TV company wouldn't take a chance on me. So there was all these, fear, all this fear and anxiety that I look back on now and just wish like I didn't. I tell myself to, breathe, it's going to be okay. But, you don't know that in the time. The fear of the unknown is terrible. Yeah. It riddles you with anxiety. So to be able to be somebody that people can watch on television and hopefully connect to and relate to give them that sense of hope that, I made it through, they can make it through. It's cliche, but that's the way it is. Like, you want people to not feel the way that you do, because it's really, really shitty. You know, I know a lot of people can't relate to that experience of coming out, but what I always say is human emotion is the same. The situations are different. We may have completely different scenarios, but we both know what sadness is. We both know what happiness is. If I can connect with somebody on a human level who can relate to that same exact feeling, no matter what situation it is, you know, they're being bullied or you know, their sexuality, or there's some things happening with their family. If I can connect with them in that way and help provide them hope, it's a job well done. And then I get to do that while doing a job that I love. That's like the perfect combo.
I know that I have 2010 as a date in my head as part of your story. 2010, was that when you started wrestling?
2010 is when I first came out to my best friend.
That must be what I have in my head. Because I know there was like a time between I think what I'm thinking is there was a time between when you came out to your friend and when you like came out publicly, right?
Yes. So I came out to my best friend Greg in 2010, and then I kind of let the rest of my friend group know on a need to know basis type thing, as like whenever I was ready or the scenario was perfect. Actually, the one, my buddy Mike Blasey, we were playing, my friend Andrew has a really big house, and we were playing Manhunt because we're like, screw it, let's just
What's Manhunt?
Essentially, it's almost like supposed to be the grown-up version of hide and seek, where you basically hide. So we shut off all the lights in the house because we were bored, and we're like, all right, let's play Manhunt. And we hid, and I found this closet, and when I went in there, my buddy Michael was also sitting in the closet, and no one can find us. We were sitting there for like 45 minutes. Even after the game was over, people were trying to find us. Like, screw it, let's just fuck with them. And we were sitting there, and then I was like, you know what? In my head, like, he's the last person I think I haven't told. So I came out of the closet, inside of the closet.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Wait, what was your question? I came out to all my friends, and then
and had you already come out to your parents?
No, so my parents came a little bit further along. My mom kind of not called me out, that sounds bad, questioned me about it, and then I came out to her, and then I told my dad after that. So it was just my friends and family that knew for a large period of time, until I met my boyfriend Michael in 2016. We dated secretly for a while, which I always say I feel bad about, but and I'm very thankful that he put up with it. But I told him that it wouldn't be forever. I just needed to be the right time. And he had always wanted to do a YouTube channel, and he asked me if I wanted to do a video, and I was like, nope. I don't think I'll be doing that. But then I saw how sad he got, and I was like, you know what? You don't really have that many subscribers. Like, who's gonna see this video anyway? Let's do it. We did it. It was called the Laughing Challenge, which is basically like where you pour a bunch of water in your mouth, and then you put on a funny video, and the person who loses is the first person to spit out the water from laughing. Did that video. Obviously nobody watched it, but then like a few months later, I got a text from one of my wrestling friends. They're like, dude, we saw the video, ... And I pretended like I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, because my stomach dropped. Yeah. And I pretended like I didn't know what he was saying, and then he was like, no, like, we all saw the video, like, we don't care, we love you, respect you, you're a buddy, you're a great performer, like all the stuff that like brought joy to my heart. I was like, oh, okay. And then once I kind of realized that, you know, I had the support from the people that supported me in my wrestling career, my family, my friends, this great relationship with Michael, I was like, what am I, like, what else do I really need? I don't care if, you know, Joe down the street doesn't like me for something, you know, he can, you know, fuck off, honestly. I can curse, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And that was kind of like the last nudge that I needed. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell Michael. I wanted the decision to be mine. I didn't want any outside influences telling me I shouldn't or should do something. I wanted it to be my decision only. So then I think I wrote up it was a game night, a couple's game night that Michael and I were at. And I felt like that was the time for some reason. I don't know. It just hit me. I typed something up on Facebook, hit send, hit the relationship request thing, because that's what everyone did back then. And I shut my phone off, threw it on the couch. And like 45 minutes later, I told Michael to go pick up his phone. I was like, I think I heard your phone go off or something. I go pick it up. And he picked it up and he saw the relationship request and his whole face lit up. And I was like, oh my God. And then I turned on my phone and then we went through all the comments and stuff. It was a really, really nice time.
That's so sweet.
Nice moment, I should say. But that was part 1 of coming out. And then part 2 was I was approached by this website called Outsports. I guess that I had heard about it at some point. I don't know how. And he asked if I wanted to write my story. And I had never heard of Outsports. I didn't know that they were like a affiliate of like the Huffington Post and all these other media outlets. So I was like, screw it. I'll write it up. If somebody, connects with it, just, good. I helped one person. Wrote it up, sent it in, and then I woke up one of the next days and they had posted it and my phone was just melting because it was everywhere. Like it went viral. And that's kind of what changed my life.
At what age did you realize that you were gay? Would you identify as
gay?
Okay. At one point you did identify as bisexual, right?
Yes. So I feel like a lot of people go through different, just like periods of their life of self-discovery.
Right.
And at the time, that's truly what I felt. And as time went on, I started reading these articles and be like bisexual pro wrestler Anthony Bowens. And it just didn't feel like I connected with that anymore. I mean, I don't like labels as it is, but if I'm a public figure, you're going to be labeling me things, I want it to be something that I feel like I truly identified with. And gay would be the term, I guess, if I have to identify as something. So that was, I don't remember what year that was. What was the original question?
Oh, it was at what age did you realize?
Oh, what
gay?
a question. So I started to notice in high school, I started to look at things differently. I'm like, oh, that girl's pretty. And then, oh, her boyfriend's kind of cute too. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then I had a dream about one of my friends, I think it was. And that kind of was the first time I was like, huh. And then stuff like that would keep happening. And then I wasn't the most self-confident person in general. So I guess my high school love life was pretty non-existent. I wasn't like much of a ladies' man. I was kind of like the nice boy that everyone liked. Nothing beyond that.
Right.
And even if it was, I wouldn't have had the confidence to even, continue on. So that was kind of non-existent. And then I noticed that there was this other side of things that was starting to feel a lot stronger in college. And that's when I started exploring and it just felt comfortable. And, it kind of went from there. But now that I look back on things, I started to see little signs when I was younger that kind of indicated that I didn't realize until now.
Right. I mean, it sounds like, tell me if I'm right, it sounds like your coming out journey went pretty, it's from what I'm hearing, most people, you encountered acceptance. Is that right?
Yeah. So I always say that I'm privileged and I recognize that I've had acceptance and support from the people that were around me. I wouldn't say it's a liberal area, but it's, tri-state New York City. It's a lot better than, a lot better than certain regions of the country. So I can live a lot more openly. And also, most people think I'm a cis man. They don't really know unless I tell them. So that adds another layer of protection, I guess, quote unquote, where I can kind of navigate through, or I have navigated through life without having to kind of look over my shoulder. So I understand that it wasn't easy what I went through, but I do have it a little bit easier than others. And that's why it's also hard for me to give advice to everybody because, I don't want to give a blanket, vague kind of be yourself, go be happy. And then you go be yourself and be happy. And someone attacks you on the street because you live in, I don't know, not to pick on Alabama, but somewhere down in the South area where that's not
the Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt. Yeah. So it becomes very hard it's a hard thing to navigate.
Not to get super political, but does it feel to you like we're moving backwards in a way?
Yeah. It's scary sometimes. I try not to read into a lot of things because I know there's you start going down the vortex of one thing, it'll lead to another, and it makes things seem a lot worse than what they are. But there's a lot of bad things going on there, trying to reverse a lot of progress that we've been making. So, the fight continues, I suppose.
Yeah, it does seem that way. On a lighter note, this holiday season, I want to give a gift to my loved ones that makes them feel special and unique. Just like the relationship I share with them. And that's why I'm giving everyone that I care about Storyworth. I've talked to you guys about Storyworth before. I love this. I gave it to my dad. It is a subscription service where they send your loved one, the person that you give the gift to, a question each week, a story prompt. There's a list of questions that are great. And you can go through and choose which ones. You can add your own. And it will, prompt them to share a story, a precious memory. And then at the end of a year, they take all of these stories that your loved one has shared, and they put it into a beautiful hardbound book, and it'll be a keepsake that you will have for years to come. For the rest of your life, you can give it to your kids. Your family will have it long after you're here. Not to get morose, but I'm just saying, look, it's just, I have talked about it on the show, and then people have gone out and they have gotten it for their loved ones. And then the feedback I get is that everyone loves this. I'm telling you, this is like the perfect gift, and it's a unique gift too. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love most a thoughtful personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/bestfriend and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/bestfriend to save $10 on your first purchase. I have another amazing gift idea for you as well. Please go out and get both of them. And this is Skylight Frame. This is a digital photo frame. It is a black photo frame with a white mat. Comes in 2 different sizes. Before they were even a sponsor on the show, my husband came to me and he said, I know what we're getting the grandmas this year. And I said, great, because I have no idea. And he said, the Skylight Frame, it's like a beautiful digital photo frame. We got that for them. They're not technologically savvy, but it is like plug and play. You just plug it in. You can email photos to it. They have both plugged it in. They both have wonderful photos of our grandkids and our family. And then my mom betrayed the agreement we have, and now she has pictures of her dog and like stuff that she wants to put in. And I was like, that's not what I intended when I gave you this frame. It's pretty much just for the photos of my children. What are you doing, lady? But whatever. So I'm not upset about it or anything. Look, it's got a vibrant touchscreen display that lets you swipe through photos. You can even tap a heart to let the person who sent the photo know that you love it. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't love it, which you will, they offer a full refund. As a special offer, you can get $15 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter code Allison. That's right. To get $15 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame, just go to skylightframe.com and enter code Allison. That's Skylight, SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, promo code Allison. Okay. We have some questions for you that listeners have sent in. Some of them sent in on Patreon. Yes, I am on Patreon.
Patreon.
That's right. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen is where you go. All sorts of different rewards. You can get bonus episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon bonus podcast. All sorts of wonderful episodes. I could regale you with the names of the people that have been on that, but then we would be here all day. There's a little where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can get videos of the Thursday show. I do live streams, outtake photos, all sorts of stuff. Subscribe for a year. You get 2 months free. Okay.
Questions from our fans.
I love the little jingles.
Thank you very much. Okay. Karen Quinn wants to know, does he have any pre-match rituals?
No, surprisingly, no. Like a lot of wrestlers do, they get hyped up and stuff, or they have like certain stretching routines. I'll stretch for maybe a minute, do a couple push-ups, and then I go. I don't drink anything. I don't listen to anything. I mean, I drink water, but I don't have any like specific thing that I go to. I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing.
Are you like a superstitious person at all?
No, other than I won't. It's kind of like a rule in wrestling my personal rule is don't say I never want to do something or never want to wrestle something, because you'll end up doing it within the next month or so.
Yeah.
It's happened every single time I've said it, and I've learned my lesson. It won't happen
What's
again.
like an example of something where you said that and then it happened?
When I was on the Independents, there was this group of I forgot the name of them, but they were like a group of monsters, and all very nice gentlemen, but they weren't the best, and people would be very banged up wrestling them. And the one guy had like a fireball that he threw at people that like it would explode in your face,
Like actual pyrotechnic kind of thing?
it's like flash paper.
Oh, okay.
And then like it burns up in your face, but you have to be really good at throwing it so you can
He
not
wasn't.
burn the guy, and he wasn't.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I never ever want to wrestle those people. And then I came to wrestling the following week, and they were just like, hey, we got this idea, you're gonna be wrestling blah blah blah. I was like, no. And funny story, he tried to do the fireball, but he couldn't light it. And I took it as an opportunity. And I smacked it out of his hand as quickly as I could, and got away with not having to have fire in my face. So that's my rule or superstition.
And then Karen also wants to know, what is his emollient of choice? Okay, so this is a callback to our Thursday show that RJ City was on. And I had seen a YouTube match, an old match it was on YouTube, and it was between RJ and Colt Cabana. And I was like, how do they get their bodies so shiny? So I was like, what do you guys use to make your bodies so shiny? So that's the question. I don't know if you make yourself super shiny, but if you do, what do you use?
I have a spray bottle of water.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that like dry pretty fast though?
Yeah, but then you start sweating almost
I
immediately
see.
because you're, at least me, because I'm jumping and gyrating and screaming. So I just get sweaty pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I don't really need that much. And plus, a lot of guys put on like baby oil or all these other things, and it's really gross when you're wrestling them because then you smell like it, and
also you're really like slippery
slimy.
and messy.
Yes, it's nasty.
Only someone who has been in the trenches reporting on wrestling would be able to say something that I just said like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Renegade Soul wants to know, how do you keep your cut fresh on TV every week?
I have really good barbers. I have one on the East Coast. His name is Gio. And then one on the West Coast in Encino, who's, I think he's a wizard with the, what do we call it?
Clippers?
Clippers.
Blade?
And
Straight razor?
Straight razor. There we go. So precise. I do hear that a lot. I'll see different tweets, or sometimes somebody will send me like Reddit posts of just threads complimenting my hairline and how good the barber is. So it's those two that keep my hair.
How frequently do you get your hair done?
Every 2 weeks. Mostly because I don't know if you noticed, like I have a darker patch of hair on the back of my head.
No, I didn't really take my glasses off to see that. Oh, kind of. Yeah.
So I was born with birthmarks on my body, so I had to have them removed. So I have some scars on my legs, but there's a birthmark on the back of my head. So when I shave it down too much, it's just this really dark circle. So sometimes I'll leave it, and I'll get a ton of tweets afterwards, like what's going on with Bowens' barber? Like, what is he doing? And then there's other times where I just don't want to deal with it, so I cut it just so it's at a certain length, and I make sure I do it week or however many weeks to make sure it stays at that length to avoid it. But if anybody wants to know, it's a birthmark.
So wait, you had to have them removed from your legs. Was that a cosmetic thing, or were they worried that it could become like?
Yeah, they were worried that it could become something, so they had to take them off.
Got it. How old were you when that happened?
Very young, 1 or 2.
Okay, so you don't have a memory of it.
I do remember
You do.
being on the operating table and then
Really?
putting the mask on me, and then I remember, I don't know if it was afterwards or before, but they had to take me into some room and give me a shot for something. And I just was not having it, so my dad went out and bought a Power Ranger toy. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they got me. They distracted me enough. But I distinctly remember, I had to have been about 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is weird because I don't remember anything yesterday. but I can remember stuff when I was 3 years old.
Right. Do you consider that like an early trauma? Was it traumatic?
Maybe. I mean, they're not all bad memories. Like, I remember being so excited to see my dad. I guess it was after I was in the hospital room, and then he went for a little walk or something, and I got up all these specific things I can remember, but it wasn't traumatic. They were nice. Anything really that has to do with my parents or like the strongest link to, I guess, my earliest memories. And that's also why I like to collect toys and stuff, because each toy has a specific memory attached to it. So I like to, when I pick it up, then I immediately just go right back to being 4 or something and have my mom come home and here's this Thomas the Tank thing. So it's like a nice little connect to my family.
Do you have a favorite toy or a favorite type of toy that you like to collect?
I mean, I collect a lot of Power Ranger stuff, but it's usually anything that I can, again, attach a memory to. So I'm trying to find this Micro Machines van that I remember my mom trying to hide from me that she bought on my 5th birthday. I'm trying to find that Thomas the Tank set that she brought home. I found most of them except for that one. But my favorite toy, I think, is it's this Jakks Superstars Series 5 Rocky Maivia the Rock. I used to pretend that figure was me because it was it was the closest to skin tone I could find. And it kind of looked like me with the hairline and stuff. So I used to pretend that was me, and I have that in my office. But then we just found out a month ago or 2 months ago that I'll be getting my first action figure next year.
That's
so awesome. I get to put that next to the one I used to pretend was me.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, RJ Ryan wants to know, do you eat breakfast?
No.
Okay. Okay, so this is like a flow chart. It's like, 1, does he eat breakfast? If yes, what does he eat? If no, why is he against breakfast?
I am not against breakfast, but I seem to like breakfast foods more at night when I'm relaxed.
So you don't wake up relaxed?
Relax.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But usually I like intermittent fasting, I believe it's called. I don't like going to the gym on a full stomach. I feel sluggish, so I usually like to go on an empty stomach and then have my first meal after I lift.
Do you drink coffee or anything?
No.
So when you go to the gym, you've only had water?
Water. I take a pre-workout sometimes just to get some energy, but other than that, it's just water.
And are you regimented? Well, it sounds like you're fairly regimented about your eating then, if you're doing an No. I
mean, we're talking about in regards to what I eat?
In regards to what time do you stop eating at night?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay. So you stop eating when you go to bed, obviously, or before you go to bed at some point.
If I feel like I've had enough for the day, I'll cut myself off, or just, when I'm not hungry anymore. I don't really care about any of the times or anything like that, except for when I wake up. I just want to make sure I have nothing on my stomach for lifting.
Right.
And then eating wise, I just love eating Chipotle.
Let's see. Okay. Kane Morikendi says, how many hockey fights did you witness as a child with your father? And do you think it influenced you to pursue a career in professional wrestling? And then I have a follow-up question to this. What did your dad do with hockey?
So my father is a hockey fight tape trading legend. Like, he kind of started the whole ring of things back in the 70s. So he was obsessed with hockey fights since he was in high school for some reason. And he would go and find the box scores and stuff. It just was his hobby. And then VCRs came out and he started taping the games and creating best of collections on the tapes of stuff. And then back then, security wasn't the way it was today. So he would just dress up in a suit and he would walk into the Nassau Coliseum or Madison Square Garden, all these arenas, and walk into the press box with a suit, and he would network, and then he would meet the media people who give him pass credentials, and then he would meet the players and the coaches, and he would build rapport with all these NHL teams who would give them their tape library and allow him to edit off all the hockey fights that he wanted and give them back. And so eventually it became to the point where if they needed scouting for a goon is a guy who goes out and protects the star players to fight. If they needed, the Rangers used him for scouting, they'd call him up and he had all the tapes and stuff. And then, so he became known in NHL with the players as the godfather of hockey fights. And by the time I was born, he would take me to like the different arenas and stuff, and we'd pick up the tapes. And during hockey season, we'd have like 14 satellite dishes on like however many so TVs. And every night they'd be rolling on every single game. And my job would be to go on the like, I think it was USA Today, and find all the box scores of what like the times of where all the fights were, give it to him, and so he could edit off and stuff like that. So he loved it, and he doesn't have new content anymore. He kind of goes back through his old stuff to like organize it. So he still loves it and still does it. But to answer that question, I saw a lot of them, a lot of hockey fights.
And do you think it influenced your decision to pursue a career in professional?
No, I think it's
wrestling?
Purely coincidental. I just loved wrestling for wrestling. Maybe it made me like fighting or something, but I don't think it directly had any relation.
Michael Canick wants to know, Red Hawk Diner, Blanton Lunch Hall, or the Rat Pizzeria, what was your go-to spot in college? And how did you handle the diarrhea afterwards? Are these Seton Hall questions?
Those are Montclair State University.
Okay.
So I transferred out of Seton Hall after my sophomore year. And I didn't really eat at any of them. I was a commuter. I would come on campus for baseball class, and then I would dip. But I don't think I really ate at the diner. I always heard the same exact thing, that your stomach would be destroyed, and I just avoided it.
Another food question. DJ MT Clips says, two-parter. Is there any place for pineapple on pizza?
No.
No.
I'm sorry. No. As a Italian man, I forbid it.
Okay. And then why do sociopaths think it's okay?
Because they're sociopaths.
RJ, the aforementioned RJ City wants to know, what sexual innuendo gesture makes you uncomfortable?
I'm a very open-minded person, so I welcome any sexual gesture you want to throw at me comfortably.
If I real quick on that note, because I came to AEW a little bit after you were already there, and did the scissoring stuff literally start just because you making the A with your? Did it kind of come from that, or how did that happen?
So this goes back to the Max was full throttle ahead with all the risks that he took. So we would do the A with the fingers for the acclaim symbol. And again, we were trying to find anything to do that would be different, and we needed hand gestures. And then to rib me or play a joke, he came up behind me and started scissoring. And on camera, this is all like, that's the cool thing about the Acclaimed is like, we don't have a performance center like where we can like train and work on things in the dark before it reaches TV. Everything we had to try was on camera on a show. So you can go back on YouTube and watch in lineage like every one of our matches until like leading up to now. So you could see us adding things and subtracting things as we go. Hand gesture being one of them. So you see me like turn to him and like make one of these like faces like, oh, like reserved to me going, oh, we're about to get fired. Castor going, haha, like I love, just going for it. I think he did it again. They asked us to stop doing it because they didn't know how the network would feel about it. Like, if it was up to them, they would just let us do it. But obviously the network that we're on makes all the rules. So they're kind of like, don't do that. And then for whatever reason, I guess we were just tired. Like we were trying to make noise for ourselves, and we were just like, screw it. So we just started doing it again. And at one point I was laying on the mat, and then I happened to look up and I saw the whole barricade. Everyone in the front row had their fingers out and they were yelling, Bowens, come here, scissor me. And I was like, okay, we're on to something. So then that's when I started like really, like we would just do it. And then after that, I would, I'd throw the tongue in and shake my head like I was motorboating, and I would scream, and I kind of just dive into it a lot more and take more risks like Castor would like me to do. And then it just became a thing where people wanted to do it.
Yeah. I assumed something along those lines, but I wasn't totally sure.
It was very organic.
Yeah. And I just love, as you said earlier, out of context having to explain to people that one of your big catchphrases is "Scissor me, daddy." I love having to try and attempt to explain that to people.
It's fun.
Have you tried to explain? How do you explain it to your parents? Or have you?
I mean, they know. They're pretty. My dad was a wrestling fan, and they watch every single week, so they saw the progression of it.
Yeah.
And they love it.
By the way, I hope that didn't sound like judgment. I do not have judgment about it. I just meant like trying to imagine explaining like what "scissor me daddy ass" means to someone who's like a lot older. I'd just be banging my head against the wall. Okay. LKW Artwork says, what's his favorite date or hangout with Michael Pavano?
Oh, I love that question. We haven't really got one in LA yet, but there was a place in New Jersey called Van Gogh's, which was a couple minutes from where he used to live in Union. That's where we went on our first date, and that was where we would go and kind of just sit and unwind and have a nice dinner or talk over plans that we want to do for YouTube. And it was very, very cool vibe, cool art everywhere, nice music, good food. And that's where we first, there's this table that they have, and inside each table was different. So like it was different chairs, it was a different kind of table, so it made it kind of unique. And this one specific table had 2 nice reclining chairs and a drawer that had notes in it, so you can leave notes to other people.
Oh,
so
that's so cute.
We played some sort of game, and I left a note for Michael on the note, and I put it within the masses of the note. And he was like, "What'd you write?" I was like, "You'll never know." And then it come to find out when we left, he went back the next day and he like scavenged through all of it to find the note, and he kept it and he gave it to me on one of our anniversary, like a little poster that he made.
Oh,
so it'd be Van Gogh's.
How'd you guys meet?
So how do I make this a short story? Essentially, I would go on Tinder from time to time, and I would switch over to interest to guys every so often. I would swipe to see just like who was out there, and I would never swipe right because I didn't want to match with anybody because
you were on there looking for women ostensibly.
Yeah, like, even still, like I said, I wasn't that confident enough to even go through with anything, so I was kind of kidding myself, I think. But I also I wanted to see, what was out there for the men as well. And I wouldn't match because I didn't want to match with anybody and have anybody know. I wanted to make it look like it was a mistake. But I would see sometimes if they had an Instagram attached, and his profile came up, and I was like, wow, this kid's very good looking. And I saw his Instagram. I gave him a casual follow like a couple of days later, and then he posted another photo, and I was like, I slid into the DMs. We had a quick conversation, and that was that. Nothing crazy. Just, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. So then I'm sitting at work like maybe a month later or a few weeks later, and I get a message from this guy.
And what was work for you at that point?
I was working at Major League Baseball, MLB Network, as a logger, editor type guy. So I get the message from him on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know who this is, so I ignore it. And then I get another one. It's like, who is this guy? Like, what's going on? And he goes, hey, you don't know me, but I think you had a conversation with my boyfriend, Michael.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that, but to let you know, he did nothing wrong. It was just a conversation, blah, blah, blah. I'll delete him and I'll delete you because I'm in the closet. I'm not trying to be in a love triangle I don't know what's going on there.
You didn't say that though, right? That was just internally?
No, I said everything.
You said because I'm in the closet?
Well, he assumed if I was talking to Michael that I was gay or something. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not trying to be involved in any of this. Yes. I'm very discreet about everything. I'll delete you. I'll delete him. Did that. Thanked me for understanding, whatever. And then a couple months later, I get a friend request from Michael. And I'm like, ugh, this kid again. And then I saw his profile picture. I was like, he's really cute. I'll just accept it. And then he gave me the breakdown of everything that he was in. The relationship he was in was very, very toxic.
Really? Because it sounds so healthy from what you just told us. Doesn't this sound great and romantic, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Very toxic. They were taking a break. He was kind of like seeing who was out there, curious. And again, did nothing wrong. So it didn't give me any like red flags as to this kid was like going around like cheating on his boyfriend, anything like that. But he explained the whole scenario, apologized for everything that happened. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, you know, if we ever want to hang out, we can hang out. And then we talked maybe on and off for, I don't know, a couple months, just very rarely, but we always said at some point we got to hang out. And then one night I was hanging with my friends. They're all straight and they all had their girlfriends. We were sitting around the fire pit and I was like, this sucks. I was so alone. And I was like, I'm going to get out of here. So I left, and then I had remembered that we'd been saying that we were going to hang out for a while. And I hit him up, and it just so happened to be that it was his birthday at midnight. So he told me to come down to, I guess, celebrate it with him and his friends. And I went down, hit it off immediately. We ended up talking to like 6 a.m. And then a little over, it's about 6.5 years later, we're here.
That's so sweet.
And we're looking to buy a house.
Oh my God. That is the sweetest story ever. Oh. Oh, that's so sweet. And then also, and I do have more questions. This is a question from Alison Rosen.
Sure, bring them.
You were in a movie.
Yeah.
Your answer was so cagey. I was just going to ask what the story with what the movie was.
Yes, it's a movie called I don't know. Am I supposed to say?
If you're not supposed to, then we don't have to talk about it. I only know from Instagram because Danielle. Well, we can take out whatever you're not supposed to say. Danielle. Well, this is on Instagram though.
She put
Danielle
it out there.
Fishel directed it, right? And I've had Jensen Karp has been a guest on my show multiple times. It's been a while now, but he has been on my show multiple times. So I saw that, and then I was going to ask you about that. But if you cannot disclose, then we can move on.
Well, I don't know. She's posted that she's filming a movie, and she's posted the cast and stuff. But
yes.
yeah, it's I had that answer because I always say, "Oh, you're in a movie." I'm like, well, I have a couple lines in the movie. Like if I was the lead, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm in a movie."
Okay.
But I am a part of this movie, which I know will be distributed next year and directed by Danielle Topanga. It was really fun.
What is the movie though?
It's called Classmates.
Okay.
I guess that's
I didn't
all
know
I
you.
can
I didn't
say.
know that you're not the lead. I'm not going to see it now, and I would advise everyone else not to.
But Michael just got a lead in a horror movie.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Very proud of him.
He is very good at celebrity impressions.
Yes, and that was a result of the pandemic because we were doing lifestyle vlogs, like just typical couples vlogs on YouTube, which were okay in the beginning, and then people just, I guess, got bored of them because it's, you know, how much can you do if you're not traveling? Yeah. And we were trying to figure out how to grow the channel, and we were stuck indoors because of the pandemic, and we had just heard about the show called Love is Blind that everybody was, I guess, kind of making fun of, but secretly enjoying, I guess, because of being forced to be home. And he's always been really good at impressions, and we've always, like, 2-3 in the morning, we're downstairs and we are relaxed and hungry. And we're just,
do you guys meditate a lot? You seem so relaxed sometimes. Sometimes your day you're so relaxed. I'm glad you're not tense.
No meditation. But we'd have these scenes, like we would just go into like these characters and do improv with each other, and we would just die laughing. I'm like, why didn't we record that? Or why didn't we like create something out of this? And from that vein of thinking, and him wanting to create different content, like, why don't we do a parody of Love is Blind? And we did that. And then right off the bat, it like hit, and we got like 1 million views on it. Like,
wow.
Oh, okay. So then we made another one, and that got 500,000. Then we made a third one. And then we're like, this is everything that we wanted to do, but we didn't really think to do it. Like doing sketch comedy, or like, we love slapstick comedy, like the Naked Guns, the Scary Movie trilogy, that kind of comedy. So then we just started doing anything that he does an impression of, like those girls, the 90 Day Fiance couples, Kardashians. Who else did he do? The Housewives. There's one video where he does the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think he's like 7 of the women, and all at the table. And then we started writing our own little skits. I wrote one called the Mighty Morphin Karen Rangers, which is we're basically 2 Karens that we're going about our day, and then our wristwatch goes off like the Power Rangers, but it's like a scenario where it's like a little girl selling lemonade. We have to go ruin her day, and we'd spring into action and become Karens. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's funny. So there's a lot of different content and stuff that we do on Michael and Anthony.
Someone wrote in with a question that I didn't select because it was so sad, but now I will. What a terrible way to introduce a question. But I didn't star it, so I don't have it right in front of me. But it was the because you've mentioned the Power Rangers and that you're a fan. The guy who just passed away.
Oh yeah, David Frank.
Yeah, they wanted to know how you felt about that, being such a fan.
I obviously I hate it. It's terrible. I hate whatever he was going through, and then it had to result to that because Tommy is like the centerpiece of the Power Ranger franchise, in my opinion. Like when everybody thinks of Power Rangers, I think of Tommy, the Green Ranger, I think. So it's really sad.
I'm not familiar with the Power Rangers. Oof. I know. I'm sorry. We're
going to have another podcast strictly on Power Rangers.
Give me the thumb. I mean, I've obviously I've heard of it. Give me the thumbnail. See, I didn't know that he was like who you think of it when you think of Power Rangers.
I honestly don't know this.
Tony.
Tony.
That's more heartbreaking, right? Because you've just met me, but like Tony, you probably felt like you knew him. So
yeah,
that's
I saw him play
betrayal.
Bamboozle in 2010.
Tony.
Yeah.
Tony.
Anthony's seen me play before. Allison's never seen
I've never seen him play, but one day I
trying
will.
to hold me down in my room.
Yeah.
Big fan of your music, by the way. I just wanted to.
Thank you. That was so cool because I went to the AEW show in New York the night you guys won the titles, and I posted a picture, tagged him in it. Didn't think anything of it, and then like a couple days later, you responded saying that you loved Motion City, and I
love Motion
was
City.
not
so
expecting
cool.
that at all. That was very fun to get. So thank you.
No problem. I have what's called gold. I have favorite albums. Then I have like golden albums, which I describe as albums that I can listen to straight through without going like, I'll skip this, and commit this to memory is one of those.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
So what I'm hearing is that it's not one of his favorite albums, though. Just kidding.
Anything to tear him down.
That is my thing. Yes.
You caught on quick.
Oh, you listen.
I have that same dynamic with Dante Martin, where we will find anything to belittle each other, no matter how well we do. We won't give each other credit for anything.
Give us people who don't know the Power Rangers. Give us like just the thumbnail so we can pretend we know what's going on.
5 teenagers were chosen by this being called Zordon. To be 5 teenagers with attitude that will be given these power coins with the power of these prehistoric animals that will morph them into these superheroes known as the Power Rangers. And they also can, with these power coins, control what are called Zords, or these big machines that represent the animal. So there was the Triceratops, the Pterodactyl, the saber-toothed tiger, the Mastodon. So they have to defend the world from evil space aliens, the main person being Rita Repulsa. She wants to destroy the world and take it over in each universe. And she has her minions called Putties and her friends that go down to Earth and try and destroy everything. Zordon, being her ultimate enemy, defends the planet with the Power Rangers.
I'm in. That sounds cool.
And then the Zords come together to create a Megazord, which is this big robotic thing that's really badass, and it beats up the evil space alien.
Okay. And who did this guy play?
Tommy was the Green Ranger. So it started off as 5: the Red Ranger, Green Ranger, Yellow Ranger, Blue, and Black. And then Rita Repulsa, to counter the Power Rangers, got a Power Ranger of her own. The evil Green Ranger.
Oh, so he's a heel.
He started off as a heel. She had the secret ancient power coin that held the power of the Dragon Zord. So I love this right now. So she tried to destroy the Power Rangers with the Green Ranger, but the Power Rangers were able to overcome and overturn the curse and then retrieve the power coin back. So then Tommy, Jason David Frank, would then become a good guy and join the force and defeat Rita Repulsa. He then also became the White Ranger because his power coin got destroyed, I believe.
Okay. Just to break the fourth wall, our camera guy is nodding intensely. You're a Power Ranger fan too?
I grew up in the 90s.
Okay.
Jason was like the first main guy, and then
Yes.
and then the Green Ranger took over as like the dude.
Yes, and Jason's in some legal trouble, I believe. I think he was arrested for some sort of maybe insurance fraud, I think. So the Power Rangers aren't looking. That's not good.
Someone needs to do like a serious 8-part podcast about it, and it's going to be you, Tony.
Right? I know.
It seems weird since you don't know anything about it, but some people say that that's how you know.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. You can bring a real you can bring objectivity to it. I think it might be time to do Just Me or Everyone.
Is it just me or everyone?
Thank you for enjoying the jingles. Not everyone has such discerning taste. I understand you have a Just Me or Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I'm not the big. I hate when people have like little petty things that they throw on me. So I never like to throw it on them. But this particular one is probably one of the only ones that I get annoyed at, other than Michael leaving garbage on the side of my car door. It is leaving the toilet seat up.
Oh.
I don't know why, but when I come in, I see the toilet seat up. I feel like I can smell everything that has been there during the day, and it just freaks me out.
Are you talking about the lid?
And not the future.
Are you about the lid, like the leaving the lid up, or leaving the I guess
anything up that exposes
the water
and the scent that is wafting up from there. So I have to immediately close it. I won't shame anybody for it, but if I see it, I'll just close it.
That's such a polite way of handling it. I personally don't have that, but I feel like I should. I feel like it's more safe because, especially, I feel like, and it was really during the pandemic that I started seeing this, that it's like, don't, if you keep your toothbrush in the bathroom, which, by the way, where else would you keep it? Who's keeping their toothbrush not in the bathroom? If you keep your toothbrush in the bathroom, you should for sure.
Is it a thing? People don't store it in the bathroom?
Well, isn't it the thing is like it's supposed to really be like actually a terrible place to, because of the things that happen in the bathroom. It's like not a good place to keep it.
I should finish the sentence and then it'll make more sense what I'm saying.
Okay.
They say if you keep your toothbrush in the bathroom, you should definitely have the toilet lid closed when you flush the toilet, because when you flush the toilet, like particles or aerosols or whatever, like things are going into the air, and if your toothbrush is in the bathroom, like, oh my god, if you
I keep mine in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like,
and then give it a quick wash and I take it out.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like my medicine cabinet shelves are. Oh, actually, maybe it could have. Do you keep yours in the medicine cabinet too?
I do. Yeah.
Do you guys have like Sonicares, or do you have electric toothbrushes?
No.
Oh, just
a
straight up analog.
Yeah.
Okay. You too?
Mine's electric.
Should I get
and it
electric?
fits in there.
I don't know. I don't have good teeth. Don't look at me.
I mean, I like an electric, but I feel like, if it's working for you.
I have no
you
problems.
would know. Yeah.
My dentist is happy with me, I suppose.
You suppose.
I suppose.
You don't sound very certain.
Well, they said I grind my teeth when I sleep.
Dude, I feel like they all say that.
Really? Because they're trying to sell the mouth guards on everybody?
Yeah, I mean, or we all grind our teeth. That's also quite possible. Yeah.
We'll know in a couple yeyears when I don't have teeth. Or they're just half the size.
Are you going to go for the mouth guard?
No.
How come?
I won't allow them to win.
Why?
Because I feel like I don't need it.
That's what I've been maintaining that too. I've been like, if I grinded, but I don't know. I never catch myself grinding my teeth. And they're like, because you're doing it in your sleep, which is, by the way, I like 100% am. Because then as I was falling asleep, I noticed, I really am doing this. Maybe one day. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I'm going to make them work for it.
Well, yes. I don't. Yeah. I won't let them win.
Yeah.
They're annoying me now.
I don't know.
Like, give up. It's been 10 years of trying to get you to buy this thing. I don't want it.
I know. Tony, is anyone trying to sell you a mouth guard?
No.
Really?
I actually have not had that, no.
Okay, how special. How great. That must be, what's that like? Tony,
There's plenty of other problems there. But
do you have this thing with the toilet seat?
I wouldn't say that I don't have that thing. I try to be good about putting it down and remembering to put it down. And I'm always paranoid that I walked out and then forgot. Actually, I think I did that when I got here today. I after I walked out of the bathroom, I'm like, did I put the seat down?
Oh, we'd be great roommates. Just on that alone.
I have a question for the men in the room, which is everyone. Okay, yesterday we went to Disneyland. Unless you're my son's public school, in which case we didn't. In the morning, both my husband and my son went to the bathroom, as most people do, I think, when they first get up. And then all day long, okay, I went to the bathroom 5 times or something because I've had 2 children and I am the age I am and I just have no bladder control anymore. And it's just a thing to do, I guess. And I guess, I don't know. I just they just go to the bathroom often. What can I say?
It's one of your passions.
It's one of my I am living my passion, Tony.
That's all you can do.
And the pandemic really, you know what? It's really trained me in a negative way. Like it's just a few feet away.
Yeah.
I can just, Anyway, Elliot, my son, did not pee the entire day.
Wow.
And I kept saying to him, like, honey, do you need to go to the potty? Do you need to go potty? He kept saying no. And I said, this is going to embarrass him, but he's not going to listen. I said, did you go in your undies? Which he never does. And he went, no, and he didn't.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out Daniel, my husband, didn't go the entire day either. I was like, how frequent is this?
I'm definitely not like that.
Okay.
The only time that I have had that happen, if I've gone to an amusement park in the summertime and it's crazy hot and
then you still won't go?
No, I won't go there because I feel like you end up sweating a lot of
urine out.
Yeah,
That's not what sweat is, but okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
No, well, that's what I've heard because I've definitely noticed that on hot days. I'm like, I'm not having to pee.
Okay. Can you go an entire day without peeing?
No, but I don't pee frequently.
Okay.
Neither does my dad, but my mom does. We have to usually build in a good 5 to 10 minute period before leaving to make sure that she can pee 10 times before we leave.
I did that, yeah.
So that's always included in the departure time.
Right.
But no, I depending, I guess, if I have a few drinks, maybe I'll pee a lot more often, but usually, no, every so often.
Yeah.
I can go a whole flight without getting up.
Jealous.
Yeah, I need an aisle seat.
Or at least to the end, not to cut you off. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't know if I need one, but I really want one because otherwise I don't want to have to
Yep, that's how I always go aisle.
feel anxious about having to climb over someone.
I'm also an aisle guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just better.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally I will have a window seat and I'm like, oh, except then you can do the lean and you have a little more space. But anyway.
That ends up being my problem because I'm wide and usually I'm in a good sleep and my shoulder can't fit on the seat, so it's sticking off and the stewardesses come through at 100 miles an hour with the thing and I just get knocked a couple times.
Yeah. And it feels like it's personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get up very angry.
Right.
It's very hard for me to get to sleep on planes. And then when I get there, I want to stay there, obviously. And I just get whacked with a cart.
And you must travel all the time now.
Every week. There was a point where we were on the road for, I think I was home for a day or two at different times within the week. So it was, where was it? We were somewhere, another city, back home to LA for a day and a half. Then I shot the movie with Danielle and then went straight to the airport to fly to Toronto, got right off the plane and went straight to the arena to do the match. And then I had to fly back home Jersey the following morning for a wedding and then fly back to LA on Saturday for, I think I had to do media or something. And then Sunday to Denver for Michael's birthday gift. And then Monday to Cincinnati show, Cincinnati to New Jersey, Jersey to Jacksonville.
Oh my God. Wait, the gift was you going there, or you were going there for a gift?
It was a Rufus the Soul concert at Red Rocks.
Oh, cool.
In Denver. That's one of his favorite bands. So it's a really cool. Do you know Red Rocks?
I know. I've never been, but I know of it. Yeah,
it's a really cool venue to watch a concert at. So that was his birthday gift.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to know no one here. Brian, camera guy, filling in for Pete, we can go public with the fact that there's some COVID exposure not in this room.
I was about to jump through the window.
Not in this room. Preventing normal video person from being here. So we have Brian, who is the person I'm talking to off camera. No one needs this much detail. Can you go 12 hours without peeing?
Yeah, if I'm in a foreign environment, my body
Really?
shuts everything down.
Huh.
Insane. What's going on? And then we got home and Elliot had fallen asleep in the car and would not let us take him to the bathroom. So he went 24 hours basically without peeing.
You need to learn from him.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay. Do you have a hey, go fuck yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I debated on this one because I'm a very nice guy and I don't dislike a lot of people, and I feel bad when I outwardly project my disdain for people. But then I never realized that it's not good to keep things bottled in. No. So this fucker, I forgot what I think his name was Jeff, but I don't remember what company it was. Not that I would put his name out there, but it was an independent company that I was trying to get booked at. I think I was like 2 or 3 years in. And at that point, I didn't really have a character, but I was a decent pro wrestler. I was a really good pro wrestler, but I didn't have like a character type thing. I just needed people to take the chance on me at different parts of the country. So I sent them this nice professional email like, hey, I've got this and experience. I've done these seminars. I've done extra work with WWE for a couple times, however many times it was, just to show that, they liked me enough to use me for specific things, because most wrestlers, they come in as extra. That's how they get seen. You come in as an extra. They invite you to come in. You have like a little match, and then you get evaluated, whether you're in WWE or AEW. Same thing. And put that on the resume, sent it over to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just keep in touch." So I kept in touch. I would message him maybe like it was like quarterly, as to not be annoying.
Yeah.
But just to pop my name back up in his presence. And he just kept blowing me off. And I tried one last time. And then he sent this email with like, there's nothing available right now. And if you've had that many opportunities with WWE and it didn't work for you, that should indicate that something is wrong with you. Like something like that. I was just like,
God.
Oh, okay. And those are little things that doesn't happen often. But those are little things that I always keep in my memory banks. So now that we are the best tag team in the world, AEW Tag Team Champions, the most popular tag team in AEW and professional wrestling, the Forever Champs, the People's Choice, the People's Voice, the best tag team alive, the Sultan of Scissor, the 5-tool player. Now that we're all these things, Jeff, go fuck yourself.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Oh my God, what a dick. That's right.
That's callback.
Is he still there?
I don't know what I don't know if he's even in the business anymore, but I know he used to run a company up in Oregon and then a company somewhere, maybe in Vegas or something. But there's a lot of really good indie promoters that are supportive of you and they're good dudes. And there's some other like really shady, nasty people that only they kind of like, maybe it's clout chase or something. They won't give people the opportunity that they probably, not that they deserve, but like they won't give people opportunities like they should. They
right.
Kinda, have their snobby looks or snobby thoughts on how pro wrestling is, and maybe you may not fit that. And I guess that's subjective to each person, but the way you go about it needs to be more professional, and some are way more professional than others.
Right. King Bobo. It was King Bobo, right?
Uncle Bobo.
Uncle Bobo.
But interesting enough, my
promoted him.
grandmother used to call me King.
Okay.
So that was nice. That made me smile.
Uncle Bobo. It's been so nice talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been delightful. Tell everyone where they can find you. Plug anything you'd like to plug.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bowens_official if you'd like to see my photos and daily thoughts. If you would like to watch those parodies I discussed earlier with my boyfriend, head to YouTube and like and subscribe to Michael and Anthony. And then you can see me every single week on TV, Wednesday, TBS 8 p.m. and then Friday nights on TNT at 10 p.m.
Awesome. And if you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed. Apple.com. Nope, that's not right. Apple.co/Alison Rosen. And while you're there, please leave us a nice comment. Click 5 stars. It helps out the show so much.
I will beat you up if you don't leave a nice comment.
You don't want to be beat up by this guy. That would not feel good. You know what? And you can also leave us a review if you're listening somewhere else, not on Apple, because now you can listen a million places and we are on all those places. I think you can pretty much rate and review wherever you're listening. So please do that. It helps the show immensely. Tell a friend. Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram and all the other ones, because now there's 400 social media networks and I'm on all of them. So follow me on all of them, won't you please? Listen to my other shows, Childish, which is I almost said Childish Pod, which is, I'm really.
It's going great.
It's going so smoothly.
You nailed the intro today, so you
I know, yeah, exactly. It's the constant. Childish, my parenting-ish podcast with Greg Fitzsimmons.
We're gonna have to work on this outro.
You know I'm like doing it to the camera and it is throwing me off. So I'm just gonna do it to the inside of my eyeballs, my eyelids. Childish, my parenting-ish podcast with Greg Fitzsimmons. And Upwardly Weekly, my lighthearted news podcast. It comes out every Saturday morning. It's very fun. You'll enjoy it. And I already mentioned Patreon. Also, I'm on Cameo. I don't think I forgot anything. Oh, duh. YouTube.com/Alison Rosen. Please make sure you're subscribed. Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
And Bizarre Albums, my podcast, every Tuesday. And I'll kiss the guest's ass and say, watch AEW and thank you. The Acclaimed rule. It's so much fun. It's like I was talking to my girlfriend, also a wrestling fan, and she
Flow Zone.
Yes, the Flow Zone. And it's just like we just love how fun you guys are, and you can tell that's what the fans love also. So thank you for being awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, listeners. Thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show?